And a good hump day Wednesday. I want to say Monday. Don't want to say Monday. We want to back up. It's a rainy day out there. We've had some rain on the overnight. Going to have some more this morning. And then hopefully the rain moves out later on this afternoon. Maybe some thunderstorms blow up just because of the conditions that are around this afternoon. A little cooler weather for the rest of the week. We'll just have to kind of play it by ear and see what's going on. Bill Bender will join us this morning about 8:15. Juju will join us right after Bill. And a lot of things going on. Let me hit you with a couple of breaking stories from yesterday. Of course, the top one, Cam Newton is released from the New England Patriots. I don't think anybody saw that one coming because Bill had said we're looking at what we got and moving on to the next game. Mac Jones going to be the starter for the New England Patriots. I didn't think Cam was a long-term solution. I never did. He doesn't exactly fit that system, so it doesn't really surprise me that that happens. Now, they've released him. Mac Jones will start, and you're probably going to be surprised if Mac Jones continues to mature and evolve and get better. It's going to be quite a threat, I guess, because he's going to fit that system pretty good. Wait a minute. I pulled up my feed, and I pulled up the wrong one. I can't get comments if I don't do this right, can I? Let me try one more time. 2 minutes ago. There we go. There's the right feed. Now, Richie, good morning. Milton, Andrew, good morning. Marty, good morning. Glad to have all you guys with me here this morning. Cam Newton's gone. There's speculation he could be picked up in Dallas. I don't think they want that circus down there, but Dallas is a place that you have circuses. So he may get picked up. I don't think Cam can convince himself that he's a backup quarterback. I don't think he can convince himself he needs to stand on the sidelines and hold a clipboard. You're going to have to lose some key quarterbacks for Cam Newton to get a starting job in the league as it is. So we'll see. The other thing that kind of surprised me a little bit, Will Grier, who was, I guess, Community School of Davidson is where he played, maybe. His dad was the coach, Chad. He has been cut. One of the stories that I saw come down yesterday was the number of players that are left from the Marty Herney side. Derek Long, good morning. Yeah, Houston's being thrown out there too. I don't think they bring that down there as well. They've got enough issues going on with Deshaun. Wayne, good morning. Let me give you the cuts that came down from the Carolina Panthers yesterday. P.J. Walker, who's a former XFL star, a little small, but I like him. He made the cut. Will Grier didn't. Right now there are only two quarterbacks left on the Carolina Panthers. Now, with Grier's release, there are only two members left of the 2019 class. That's first-round pick Brian Burns, defensive end, and sixth-round pick Dennis Daly. Yeah, he went to West Virginia, but he went did he go to Florida first and got in some trouble? I think that's right. Will Grier did start the final two games in 2019, went 0 for 2. And he's a Charlotte native, but went to West Virginia and just wasn't what they were looking for. Now, he may get picked up. They may sign him back to the practice squad. That hasn't started yet, so you'll have to wait and see where that goes. Of course, earlier in the week, Joey Sly was released. There's very little left from the Marty Herney return when he came back to the Carolina Panthers. So we'll see how that goes. College football gets started tonight. There's a Group 5 game. Don't remember off the top of my head. But there's a Group 5 game that's coming on tonight, and then we really get started in earnest tomorrow night. Now, Deshaun Watson was included on the Texans' 53-man roster. Hey, Sherry, glad that was great news about Barry yesterday. The thing about it, I don't know why this is a story that Watson was included on the 53-man roster. Why would he not be on the 53-man roster? Now, he's not expected to play, but what are you going to do? He'll be a healthy scratch on game days if he stays, but they can't just cut him. He faces 22 active civil lawsuits with allegations of sexual assault and inappropriate behavior. All of that has been put off until after the season. His first court appearance is not until February. Now, I think the biggest thing everybody's concerned with is what's the league going to do? What's Roger Goodell going to do? But he asked for a trade back in January, not happy. But to avoid being fined $50,000 a day, he showed up, reported, worked out, did what he was asked to do. Now, I don't know. It says here, Watson did not travel to either of the Texans' preseason games and was not on the sideline for the preseason finale. But as long as he's on the roster, they'll pay him his $10.5 million salary in 2021, which is an absolute steal for Deshaun Watson. Now, the Texans also have Tyrod Taylor and Davis Mills. Not anybody you're going to win a Super Bowl with. Bubby, good morning. Kim Jones, good morning. Kim Jones Ford. Jeremy, good morning. Kerry, good morning. But from day one, they say, Deshaun Watson is a part of this team. I'm just not sure how that's going to play out. And I don't know what the right answer is. I think from what the Texans are asking in return for Deshaun Watson, it's going to be hard to give up that many picks with no guarantees that he doesn't get booted out of the league, doesn't get put on super double secret probation. Milton says if it's all civil and not criminal, NFL would bench you. That's what I'm saying. You don't have to have criminal charges for the NFL to do something to you. It just don't work that way. So I don't know exactly what's going to happen there. We'll just have to kind of wait and see how that plays out. But that's one of the stories inside the NFL. And, of course, no NFL this weekend. It'll get started the following weekend on Thursday night. The other big story, Josh Stewart, good morning. The NFL Players Association has opened an investigation after Urban Meyer said vaccination status a factor in roster cuts. Now, let me give you all the things here. Urban Meyer said he and general manager Trent Baalke took a player vaccination status into consideration during the final roster cuts. Now, let me ask you, and I asked Juju this, and you'll get his comments later on in the hour. If you were a general manager, if you were a team owner, if you were a head coach, and with all of the things that the NFL is laying down, they've done everything except mandate vaccinations. They're going to make your life miserable if you don't. And if you're unvaccinated and the team gets it and they have to miss a game, it's going to cost money. So when you look at players who are available to play, whether it's through injury, whether it's through the vaccination part, I don't understand how you can't take that into consideration. Is that a possible liability? Not a scientist, not jumping on any bandwagons, but everything that's happening right now, the majority of the cases are people that are unvaccinated. And I'll go back, just like I said with Juju. The NFL, all of the teams inside the NFL, is a business, is a corporation. We've already seen other businesses mandate vaccinations for their employees based on what they felt like was in the best interest of the corporation. Here's the thing, folks. You don't have to agree to it, but if you want to keep your job, if you want to be a player in the league and they're asking you to do that, you've got a decision to make. It is about choices. It's your choice. I have rules where I work. I don't have to like them all. But if I want to continue to get that chunk of nuggets dropped in my account every 2 weeks, I play by their rules. Take the virus and the vaccinations completely out of it. It's why you've seen me get on here and say athletes don't have any business doing protests during game time. They're paid to play. If I did that on my company time, I would get suspended or fired or whatever. It should be no different. It's still a business. Sometimes we want to set it up and say that it's not a business. It is a business. You agree to perform a service for an amount of money. That is called employment. We got to look at things that way. Now, what happened here, the Players Association, they may bring something into play. Let me tell you something else the Players Association is going to get into. The first time a team misses a game and they start taking game checks from people, Players Association is going to get involved again. Nobody wants their nuggets gone. But if you've got certain rules you've got to follow to get those nuggets, you got to follow them. Or go somewhere else. Just because you're a professional athlete doesn't put you above anybody else for whatever the rules are for the place that you work for. You still work for that organization. That's never changed. Are you, as a professional athlete, a corporation? Yeah. You've got to decide what's best for you. You're the only employee inside that corporation. Not exactly, because you've got people. But you have to decide what's best for your organization, you as a person. And if you don't want it, don't get it. But don't say, well, you've got to do this for me. No. It's as a group. Every business has the ability to make rules that they feel like is in the best interest of their business. That's it. That's my minor soapbox for today. Andrew Mooney, good morning. Glad to have you with us. Tracy, good morning. Glad to see you in here with us as well. Let me take a break. Bill Bender will join us on the other side. We'll talk college football coming up next.
Untangling your headphones, finding the right remote, saying goodbye to your favorite shirt that hasn't fit in 10 years. Why are simple things sometimes so complicated? Thankfully, with Auto Owners, insurance doesn't have to be one of them. Auto Owners works with independent agents who live in your community and answer when you call, so you can worry about more important things, like finding a new favorite shirt. That's simple human sense.
Call Mooney Insurance in Maiden or East Lincoln Insurance in Denver or visit MooneyInsurance.com.
Times convenience stores are more than convenient. They're your neighborhood store, your store. With locations in Lincoln, Catawba, Gaston, Iredell, and Mecklenburg counties, there's one near you. Times convenience stores have the right items at the right price, from snacks, cold drinks, and light meals from the grill, and there's always a special to save you time and money. Times has what you need. Times convenience stores, there's one near you. Regardless of where you're going, there's one on your way. Remember, there's always time to stop by Times. Have you thought about when you would like to retire? One of your major assets is planning for retirement is time, and you lose a little of it each day. The longer you wait to start accumulating capital for retirement, the harder it's going to be. How should you plan for retirement? Start by calculating approximately how much capital you will need at retirement, then estimate how much you will have to put away each year. Finally, carefully choose the investments in which you will invest. Stifel Nicholas can assist you. Call Ford Rembert today at 828-624-7300. Stifel Nicholas, member SIPC, and the New York Stock Exchange.
First Federal Savings Bank has been serving Lincoln County since 1940. And as it has been from the beginning, customer service is a priority to First Federal Savings Bank. They want to get to know you by name. First Federal Savings Bank has the convenience, the products, and the services that the larger banks have, but with hometown people that you see throughout your community. Stop in and visit one of their 4 convenient locations and see what First Federal Savings Bank has to offer you. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
Whether it's a sit-down meal or a call-in for the drive-thru, Brookwood Cafe and Catering is the answer. A variety of meats, vegetables, and desserts cooked daily, or a hot sandwich from the grill, they have what you're looking for to satisfy your taste buds. If you need catering from 5 to 500, Brookwood has you covered as well. Stop by Brookwood Cafe and Catering at 202 Providence Mill Road in Maiden. Don't forget breakfast daily till 11 a.m. Open Tuesday 6 a.m. to 2 p.m., Wednesday through Saturday 6 a.m. till 8 p.m., and Sunday from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Call 828-428-8944 to place your order today.
Covenant Church began as a vision of just over 100 people in 1984. Since then, Covenant Church has grown and currently located at 2168 Gastonia Highway in Lincoln. The Sunday schedule includes early morning worship at 8:30, Sunday school at 9:45, and morning worship at 10:45. Their ministries extend beyond Sunday. Visit their website at www.covenantchurch.church to see all they have to offer, and better yet, stop by and see for yourself. Covenant Church may be just what you're looking for a new church home.
If you ask around, you'll find Burke Mortuary has a reputation for excellence and commitment to value. They've built a reputation of trust for more than 35 years. Burke Mortuary is proud to offer personal attention, meaningful tributes, and the area's most affordable prices. They're also proud to offer you beautiful, state-of-the-art facilities. It's the perfect place to honor your loved one. So when choosing a funeral home, the choice is easy. Choose Burke Mortuary with locations in Maiden and Newton.
In the best of times, no one is more deserving of every opportunity, encouragement, and support than the youth in our communities. Parents, teachers, coaches, and sponsors struggle to stretch their budgets to continue help. Communities need a team effort. Times Oil Corporation, a longtime member of the community, established the Times Educational Alliance Mission, or Team Foundation. Since 2011, over $125,000 in grants have been donated in the community. Times Oil and the Team Foundation are proud to be community partners.
And welcome back. Glad to have you here on a rainy Wednesday morning. We'll go straight to our phones. Our good friend Bill Bender from Sporting News joins us. Bill, good morning.
Hey, good morning. How are you?
I'm good. College football's finally arrived. Starts today, gets cranked up. How long before we have major hiccups due to virus issues?
We'll see. I mean, that I can't predict, but certainly probably going to be part of this season, unfortunately. And with these COVID scheduling protocol, the forfeit policies, I mean, it's probably going to happen to somebody, and you just better hope it's not your team.
I was trying to remember, wasn't there a specific roster minimum they had to have of scholarship players in Division I last year to be able to play, or am I confused?
Yeah, there was. I haven't seen, or maybe I should be researching what are the minimums this year.
Mm-hmm.
How many can you be missing that you can still play? I think there's a couple games. I remember LSU took like 40 guys over and beat Florida in one game.
Mm-hmm.
So teams will stretch that as much as they can, but certainly something to watch.
Big game, SEC, ACC matchup. Miami's on the rise. I'm not sure they've got enough for Alabama, but the Chick-fil-A, down in Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl, they'll play. This is number 1 against number 14. First time they've played since they were 1-2 back in the '93 Sugar Bowl. Now, I guess my thing is Alabama doesn't normally like to open up with this type of game, and they definitely won't travel. They'll neutral site, but it's very rare for Alabama to schedule a team of note away by choice.
Well, I mean, they've played in 10 neutral site games lately.
Yeah, but neutral.
Michigan.
Yeah, neutral site. I said neutral site, but they won't go away. They won't go home and home.
This is their last one. But this is their last one there for a while, and then they're going to the home and home model. I talked to Gary Stoken about that. So they are, and I think some of that's in response to whatever the new playoff model is, right? So they're going to want some home and homes. They've got, but to your point, during the BCS and CSP eras, they've taken advantage of this neutral site model. I think they're 10-0 in these games. They typically crush the opponent, and they'll probably crush Miami too.
And it's they're 6-0 against ACC teams in that as well. So it's not unusual. One of the things the Pac-12 has said, we're not expanding. It seems like that's maybe just kind of put on the back burner. I don't think we're at the end of this yet.
No, I agree. You're probably right that we're probably not at the end of it, even though this is during the season. I anticipate some of that to go down at least a little bit. Get wrapped up in the games, and people aren't going to pay as much attention to some of those. That's what the offseason is for. But, you never know. There could be some movement within the Big 12. I'm still watching the Big 12 to see what they're going to do. If they're considering expansion, does that mean BYU? Does that mean Boise? Does that mean some other schools? To me, if they're going to add two, the easiest two are BYU and Boise.
The biggest matchup, I think, when you look at it for this week, opening week, has got to be number 3 Clemson, number 5 Georgia. How much effect does that have on either team, depending upon the outcome with the overall picture at the end of the season?
Yeah, it's a huge game. From a playoff perspective, if you win that one, you're in business, and you've got some leeway because you get one of the biggest wins of the season in your back pocket to start. For Georgia, if they lose this one, they probably got to get through the SEC without a loss. Clemson would have to drop on them, and on the other side, if Clemson loses, they'd have to win out, and they'd still face that. Well, the ACC isn't very good, so that's why they schedule these games. You put a lot on the table, and both teams are really talented. That is as big a game as you can have in the opening week. It'll be a lot of fun.
And I'm glad to see there's some decent matchups for opening week, and this is the weekend that college football should really shine because NFL's off on Labor Day weekend. They have an opportunity to be the complete talk all weekend long for sports, especially with football getting cranked up.
They'll take advantage of it. They'll definitely take advantage of it. They certainly will see what they can do. And, when you have football from Thursday through Monday, the Thursday game with Ohio State and Minnesota should be fun. The Monday game between Ole Miss and Louisville, we'll probably take about 5 hours because both of those teams put points on the board and then everything in between. They face 5 matchups between ranked teams. They really scheduled this one smartly, especially the Big Ten. For all the hits they took last year, they've got some serious good matchups right out of the go.
Well, I didn't really take a whole lot into last year because, with all the things that were going on, they were so late to the party. It's just hard to take a whole lot away from it. This year's a little bit different. Everybody's kind of playing by the same rules. How big was the loss for Nebraska to Illinois on Scott Frost? The pressure, they say, is really heating up there, and there's nothing worse than being a favored son and alumni to get fired from your school.
Yeah, they're going to be up against it. They're definitely going to be, in some trouble. So their schedule's really tough, and I think for them to lose that game the way they did, you just can't fall behind 30-9. You can't hand the team 16 points. I think the most discouraging thing for them is probably that Illinois, with 3.5 yards at a carry, and Brett Bielema in his first game probably showed more progress there than they have in 4 years. Mm-hmm. So it's going to lead to some really tough questions. I think it's going to get ugly at Nebraska here for a while because this year's not going to be easy.
What do you think has happened? Where is the problem at Nebraska? My senior class from Clemson was the one that beat Nebraska in the national championship back in '81. But it seems like after the Tom Osborne era, it just kind of faded away in Nebraska, Oklahoma, Texas. Those were just household names in college football, even here.
Well, and Oklahoma had to evolve. Maybe Nebraska just hasn't evolved from that Osborne era. It's not like Oklahoma's running Barry Switzer's offense now.
Right.
It's not like Texas is running, Darryl Royal's offense now. You have to evolve, and I think Nebraska's tried, and they're just having trouble recruiting at the level of Oklahoma and Texas. I think leaving the Big 12 ultimately hurt them because Nebraska hadn't recruited out. They don't recruit Ohio and PA and Illinois, mm-hmm. and now they're trying to do that. So I think it's just a myriad of reasons why, and that they've got to evolve their model. And I think one way to do that would be to hire somebody like Brett Bielema, somebody that's been in the Big Ten, that can recruit. Because to me, when people say the Midwest is different from the Big Ten. Mm-hmm. There's the Midwest and the Rust Belt. You got to be able to recruit the Rust Belt to win in the Big Ten.
And I think that's one of the things that people forget when they're hiring coaches. You have to hire a coach now that you don't have as many of the classical regional conferences. You got to have a coach that knows how to recruit players to compete in those conferences, not just where you're at.
Correct, and that's kind of the point we're getting at. That Nebraska, they didn't know anything about Ohio State, Penn State, Michigan coming in the Big Ten. That's even on the other division. But more importantly, they didn't know anything about these rivalries with Wisconsin and Iowa and Northwestern. Wisconsin and Iowa are more than happy to beat Nebraska with the model they've been using for years. And again, it's Big Ten lifers, Kirk Ferentz, Paul Chryst, big offensive line. Pretty much what Nebraska used to do,
right?
But with a more traditional offense.
Just a couple games I want to get your thoughts on. I think there's a big game for Billy Napier with the Raging Cajuns. As they're ranked number 23 going to Texas. Can they make a showing in Texas?
Oh, yeah. I mean, veteran quarterback, veteran team. I think the problem they're going to run into, the reason they were able to pull the upset against Iowa State last year was they got turnovers. So if Texas doesn't turn the ball over, they're going to be in trouble because Texas has still got that offense. You know, they scored over 40 points per game last year. They just couldn't stop anybody. So I actually like Texas in this game. I like Bijan Robinson, the kind of Heisman sleeper, to get going. And I think they're going to have a good offensive showing in Steve Sarkisian's first game. They really don't want to lose that one because we've seen what happens when Texas loses an opener. You know, Herman had that happen the first two times.
Mm-hmm. The other game, Penn State at Wisconsin, that's a really early season matchup. That should be a good one. Is it more important for Penn State to pick up that win than Wisconsin?
I mean, it's really important for both of them. And I say that knowing that the winner will probably be the school we point to as Ohio State's best competition in the Big Ten.
Mm-hmm.
Penn State, obviously a rough year last year with 5 straight losses, and they can go into Madison and win. That'd be huge. Wisconsin had trouble scoring in spots last year, and COVID really impacted their season. So for Graham Mertz and them, it's huge. So, yeah, I would say equal. I mean, these two are two that traditionally, or at least if it's not Michigan, it's one of these two that gives Ohio State its best game.
Final question, Jim Harbaugh. How hot is the seat in Michigan, and what does he need to do, or are they just not willing to make a change?
We'll find out. I mean, they play a really brutal schedule. Obviously, with the pay cut, I mean, there is a sense of urgency, but there's only so much they can do in one season. So I still think it comes down to better recruiting, winning big games. They do have a brutal schedule. You know, I'm not making excuses for them, but when you have Washington and Ohio State and Penn State, Wisconsin, they have 5 ranked teams on their schedule.
Mm-hmm.
No other team in the nation has that. So we're going to find out, and I'm sure Twitter will react either way.
Bill Bender, Sporting News, as always, we appreciate the time. Look forward to getting insight next week. Just excited to get college football started back and as normal as we can with everything that's going on.
Oh, me too. Thanks so much for having me on, Lanny.
Thanks, Bill. Appreciate it, buddy. That's Bill Bender, Sporting News. Glad to get football cranked up. And great question there, Richie. Thank you. Bill Klein, good morning. Glad to have you. Andrea, good morning. Let me take a time out. Juju will join us on the other side.
Untangling your headphones, finding the right remote, saying goodbye to your favorite shirt that hasn't fit in 10 years. Why are simple things sometimes so complicated? Thankfully, with auto owners, insurance doesn't have to be one of them. Auto Owners works with independent agents who live in your community and answer when you call, so you can worry about more important things, like finding a new favorite shirt. That's simple human sense.
Call Mooney Insurance in Maiden or East Lincoln Insurance in Denver or visit MooneyInsurance.com.
Times convenience stores are more than convenient. They're your neighborhood store, your store. With locations in Lincoln, Catawba, Gaston, Iredell, and Mecklenburg counties, there's one near you. Times convenience stores have the right items at the right price, from snacks, cold drinks, and light meals from the grill, and there's always a special to save you time and money. Times has what you need. Times convenience stores, there's one near you. Regardless of where you're going, there's one on your way. Remember, there's always time to stop by Times. Have you thought about when you would like to retire? One of your major assets is planning for retirement is time, and you lose a little of it each day. The longer you wait to start accumulating capital for retirement, the harder it's going to be. How should you plan for retirement? Start by calculating approximately how much capital you will need at retirement, then estimate how much you will have to put away each year. Finally, carefully choose the investments in which you will invest. Stifel Nicholas can assist you. Call 4Rembert today at 828-624-7300. Stifel Nicholas, member SIPC, and the New York Stock Exchange.
First Federal Savings Bank has been serving Lincoln County since 1940. And as it has been from the beginning, customer service is a priority to First Federal Savings Bank. They want to get to know you by name. First Federal Savings Bank has the convenience, the products, and the services that the larger banks have, but with hometown people that you see throughout your community. Stop in and visit one of their 4 convenient locations and see what First Federal Savings Bank has to offer you. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
Whether it's a sit-down meal or a call-in for the drive-thru, Brookwood Cafe and Catering is the answer. A variety of meats, vegetables, and desserts cooked daily or a hot sandwich from the grill, they have what you're looking for to satisfy your taste buds. If you need catering from 5 to 500, Brookwood has you covered as well. Stop by Brookwood Cafe and Catering at 202 Providence Mill Road in Maiden. Don't forget breakfast daily till 11 a.m. Open Tuesday 6 a.m. to 2 p.m., Wednesday through Saturday 6 a.m. till 8 p.m., and Sunday from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Call 828-428-8944 to place your order today.
Covenant Church began as a vision of just over 100 people in 1984. Since then, Covenant Church has grown and currently located at 2168 Gastonia Highway in Lincoln. The Sunday schedule includes early morning worship at 8:30, Sunday school at 9:45, and morning worship at 10:45. Their ministries extend beyond Sunday. Visit their website at www.covenantchurch.church to see all they have to offer, and better yet, stop by and see for yourself. Covenant Church may be just what you're looking for a new church home.
If you ask around, you'll find Burke Mortuary has a reputation for excellence and commitment to value. They've built a reputation of trust for more than 35 years. Burke Mortuary is proud to offer personal attention, meaningful tributes, and the area's most affordable prices. They're also proud to offer you beautiful, state-of-the-art facilities. It's the perfect place to honor your loved one. So when choosing a funeral home, the choice is easy. Choose Burke Mortuary with locations in Maiden and Newton.
In the best of times, no one is more deserving of every opportunity, encouragement, and support than the youth in our communities. Parents, teachers, coaches, and sponsors struggle to stretch their budgets to continue help. Communities need a team effort. Times Oil Corporation, a longtime member of the community, established the Times Educational Alliance Mission, or Team Foundation. Since 2011, over $125,000 in grants have been donated in the community. Times Oil and the Team Foundation are proud to be community partners.
And welcome back. Good morning. Glad to have you here on a rainy hump day Wednesday. And the rain's going to be around for a little while today, and then it's going to move out. I don't think it'll impair high school football this week. Let me head to the phones, bring our main man on, Mr. Juju Phillips. There are some things that are impacting high school football, and we're playing musical chairs with opponents, aren't we?
Yeah, we are, Lanny. And good morning to you. Thanks for having me as always. But, yeah, at least one game's going to be changed or canceled. The Newton-Conover Hickory matchup set for this Friday has been canceled from the Newton-Conover side, and it will be not made up. Hickory has found a new opponent. They will play Drawn High School at Drawn on Friday. So for the second straight week, the Red Tornadoes, who had to play, I believe, South Caldwell last week, that game was canceled from South Caldwell's end because of COVID-related issues. Hickory wound up scheduling a game with Charlotte Latin, and this week they had to do it again and playing Drawn. So I guess for the Red Tornadoes, a chance perhaps to get the first win for their new head coach as we go along here. Hopefully the Red Tornadoes, off to an 0-2 start, can get things righted in the right direction heading into this Friday.
I'm surprised we haven't had more of this. This will be 2 weeks for Newton-Conover, will it not? Or am I mistaken there? Didn't they get canceled last week?
They did. They did. It got canceled last week, and I'm hearing that maybe nothing official yet. There may be a couple of other schools in the outside in the area that may have to do the same thing.
Mm-hmm. I've seen some of the numbers. I know that Catawba County has made mandatory masks inside for everyone beginning tomorrow. That's happening. I'm wondering if we're going to see it. I don't know. I've only been to one volleyball game. Of course, it'll be a whole new world tomorrow. But, I had already heard that there were volleyball teams who were having to travel into another county. Maybe their county didn't require it in high school, but the other county did, and they were having to wear them in volleyball games. Have you seen or heard anything about that?
Well, kind of thing. I believe some of the Catawba County schools, obviously, didn't have the mask mandate, and they played, 3 or 4 matches already.
Mm-hmm.
Hickory has had the mask mandate, so teams traveling to play Hickory have had to play with and wear the masks. My understanding is, speaking of, that the masking and everything, St. Stephen's volleyball team is in quarantine. So that's another issue. Some of these teams that had to go out and travel apparently picked up the virus. And again, because things are just, you don't know all the facts and the details. Don't know if this was somebody that's got sick, somebody that got tested positive, or they just contact traced because somebody had some symptoms. I mean, you don't know. But right now, St. Stephen's, at least one of those volleyball teams, in quarantine for at least, I guess, the next 7 to 10 days or 5 days. I'm not sure.
And that's the thing that I guess that I don't understand. Let's say St. Stephen's has been put in quarantine, then why hasn't every team they've been in contact put in quarantine? Is that not the way this thing works? I mean, I get confused because I can't follow the logic on what's going on.
I can't either, Lanny. They keep changing the goalpost, moving the goalpost or widening home plate. Again, I think it's the contact tracing more than anything else. The positive test. I don't think it's the positive test cases or the hospitalizations or the major sicknesses. I think it's the contact tracing that's getting people putting them in quarantine. And I don't know St. Stephen's schedule, who they've played the last few weeks, but I would guess that some of the teams that they've played, they probably had to go back and either start testing those teams or contact trace or whatever. But you would think, like you said, if they have their team, their entire team, varsity team is in quarantine, their opponents over the last week or so should also be as well.
Yeah. We get college football started off tonight. We finally get going tonight, and I hope that it can continue on as we work our way through this. There's so many things that are happening, so many topics with different players. There's a little bit of an altercation going on down in Jacksonville with Urban Meyer. One of the questions that they said they couldn't do is they couldn't use vaccination as a reason to keep a player. My question is, why can't you? Because if that player hasn't been vaccinated, with the repercussions in the NFL, that could affect the whole team. Availability is as important as the skills you bring this year. Would you agree?
Couldn't agree more. You're absolutely right.
I don't like it, no. But it is what it is.
Yeah, and you mentioned about Urban Meyer in Jacksonville. He said he considered, when they made their final roster cuts, cutting players that did not have vaccination. My guess is, though, we're talking about guys that are on the bubble for the rosters.
Mm-hmm.
We're not talking about starters.
That's correct.
I'm sure we're not talking about all pros or anybody else like that, or high draft picks. So, I would think that would be a smart roster management strategy, if you want to call it that, for people that, if they don't want to get it, the vaccination for whatever reason, they're saying they're going to hurt their team. So if you want to help the team and you want to get playing time and live up to your contract, then hey, get the vaccination and rock on.
Question for you: should the NFL and the NFL owners, franchises, went ahead because of the repercussions and made mandatory the vaccination for all members? They are an employer. We've seen other employers already do this. We saw a radio group do it. Beasley Communications has done it. We're seeing other businesses do it. Should they went ahead and done that, or would they have had too much of a fight with the Players Association?
I think you'd have too much of a issue with the Players Association, and two, you don't have a lot of the major companies in our country, including Pfizer, including the CDC, including other organizations that are requiring that all of their employees get vaccinated. So until you have the leadership at the very top, even some government officials aren't being required to get vaccinations, they're voluntarily getting them. But until you, I don't want to say mandated, but until some of the major companies that are leading this charge in terms of the vaccinations, like a Pfizer, Johnson & Johnson, or whatever, Moderna, until those companies are asking their employees or telling their employees to keep your employment, get a vaccination, until they start leading the way, then I can't see professional sports teams, even though they have much more invested in some of those players than they do some of the employees of these companies. My guess is, Lanny, that I think doing the right thing for if you're a professional athlete, unless you have some major objection, we've seen some coaches not coach this year, retire or get out of the way and, not coach anymore. Unless you have some major religious or moral objections to this, then the smart thing to do, or some kind of health issue, the smart thing to do is get vaccinated to help your team.
But here's the thing. This isn't going away after this year, just like it didn't go away after last year. It's here to stay. Now, let's talk LR for just a little bit. If I'm looking at the headlines right, soccer's already had their season opener get postponed. Is that a COVID issue?
I think so.
Okay.
I don't think it's with LR. I think it was with their opponent. I do know the football team opens this weekend up in Petersburg, Virginia, just outside of Richmond, against CIAA, historically black college university, Virginia State. And my understanding is, in talking with some people this week at LR, that Virginia State had about 40 players on their roster in quarantine as of last week. So I don't know. I'm guessing, it's middle of the week. May know Thursday or Friday if they have a game or not. But if you have that many players in quarantine, and who knows how long that lasts, or how long they've been in quarantine, will they have a game? There's already been some cancellations on the Division II front. UNC Pembroke had a game with, I believe, Winston-Salem State, and that game has been canceled. And that's from I believe that's from the UNC Pembroke side. Mm-hmm. So they're having some issues as well. All the colleges and universities, and it's a glorious weekend for college football. Lenore Ryan travels on the road all the way up in Richmond, Virginia. I don't know if they're going to play or not. It's going to be an interesting game. Virginia State did not play at all last year. They haven't played since, I believe, November of 2019. So it's been almost 21 months since they played a football game. And the Bears know nothing about their opponent. I think they have a second-year coach, their roster turnover, a lot of unknowns going into this opener, and even if they play the opener this Saturday for Lenore Ryan.
So does Division II not have the same rule that Division I had last year? You remember when they played, and maybe it was the spring ball I'm thinking about, but one of them had a rule that there had to be X amount of scholarship athletes, a minimum number of available athletes for them to play, or am I misremembering that?
No, there was a roster limit that you needed to have, and I asked that question yesterday of a couple of LR athletic officials, and their assumptions were that if, in this case, Virginia State does not have enough players to suit up, and I can't remember what that number was, suitable number, then they would have to cancel, and it would be considered a forfeit on the behalf of Virginia State. I don't know if that's the case with UNC Pembroke and Winston-Salem State, but my understanding is that they're going to follow this rule. They're going to try to, at least, to follow this rule of a forfeiture if the team has to do that because of COVID-related issues.
I will say this. If they do not get an opportunity to play, they won't tee it up again until September the 18th, which is a long, deep wait into the season to get it cranked up. Yeah,
and you don't know, and they haven't been able, the next week on the 11th, next weekend, they had a game scheduled with Fort Valley State, another historically black school, and that Fort Valley backed out and got a money game with an FCS opponent down in Florida A&M, I believe. So you kind of wonder, the Bears have not been able to fill that 11th game slot, and now they're going to have possibly, not for sure, possibly 2 weeks before they start the season. That's going to be difficult. I don't know if they can find an opponent on this short of notice because they haven't been able to find one for their second game in more than 4 or 5 months. So it would be tough. If they don't play this weekend, their first game scheduled would be at Newberry. Would be a conference opener on the 18th, and their first home game on September 25th. Now, if they follow the forfeiture rules, the Bears won't play a game, but yet they'll be 1-0.
Mm-hmm. Non-conference, but yeah, you're right. Anything else going on we need to be aware of, my friend?
No, I mean, I'm looking forward to a great college football weekend starting on Thursday. All the games going on down in Charlotte. It should be a fun weekend for college football. The crowds are back. I think the crowds will be back. Lanny, I wanted to ask you this question. It's about college football, and it's about your attire, your clothing attire.
Uh-huh.
I watched the UCLA and Hawaii game, and I didn't mention this on Monday to you, but the UCLA coaches, Chip Kelly and his whole staff, had shorts on. They had bright blue shorts on, and that's normally not the case in college football. They have the slacks and the shirts and everything, but they had shorts. And you are a proponent of wearing shorts when you broadcast or even are broadcasting on the sideline. What did you think of what UCLA did, a fashion statement, or do you think that's something maybe down the road we're going to see more and more of?
Well, first of all, I am not the guy to ask about fashion. If you're not sure about that, just check with my wife. She'll tell you that I am not the person to be giving opinions on fashion. However, I am a huge shorts proponent. I don't have a problem with shorts. Shorts can be done appropriately. It used to be the standard years ago, especially in high school football. You didn't wear anything. Back in the old days of the 2-button snap bike shorts, as tight as you could get them. That's the way that you wore those things. But yeah, I'm a proponent of shorts. I don't have any problem with it. I think anything that's done tastefully and done right. I'll give you another example, Juju. I don't have any problem with shorts for men on the PGA Tour. They can do it in the practice rounds. They just can't do it during an active match. But even the PGA's loosen up. Do you remember the PGA used to not allow long hair? You got Fairway Jesus out there playing. They used to not allow a beard. You could have a mustache, but you could not have a full beard. So, I think a lot of things are loosening up. I just think as long as it's done appropriately, I don't have a problem with it. And I think that was probably done. I would have thought it would have been more done if they were in Hawaii, but this one was at UCLA. But maybe they're starting to make a little change. I was never one for the shirt and tie on the sidelines for a football coach either. The Tom Landry look, even the Jim Harbaugh look. I mean, Harbaugh's bad about doing that sometimes. So I just Jim Tressel, no, that's not a place for a suit.
Well, I mean, you back in the day in the 50s, Fathers Knows Best and all that stuff, Ward Cleaver.
Yeah.
Coaches used to wear suit and ties on this Tom Landry on the sidelines and whatnot.
Yep.
And you're right, things have changed. Dresses, women's dresses, you couldn't show leg before.
Right.
I can see some of this changing, and maybe they'll go to knickers, right? Go to knickers like
I had knickers. I've worn knickers before.
Yeah.
There's very little that I won't wear, and there's very little if I won't wear anything at all. I mean, it's just hard to tell about me.
All right, I didn't want to throw that out there to you while I was thinking about it.
Okay. Yeah, I appreciate that. Have a good day, my friend, and we've got to get together soon and do some things. You're back on your regular schedule, but I appreciate you taking the time out to join us.
Maybe we can catch up in person on Monday.
That sounds good. Yeah, it's Labor Day. We'll try not to labor too much, though.
All right, buddy. Take care.
Thanks, my friend. Juju Phillips joins us every week, couple days a week. We'll take a time out and be back with more here on The Bottom Line.
Untangling your headphones, finding the right remote, saying goodbye to your favorite shirt that hasn't fit in 10 years. Why are simple things sometimes so complicated? Thankfully, with auto owners, insurance doesn't have to be one of them. Auto Owners works with independent agents who live in your community and answer when you call, so you can worry about more important things, like finding a new favorite shirt. That's simple human sense.
Call Mooney Insurance in Maiden or East Lincoln Insurance in Denver or visit mooneyinsurance.com.
Times convenience stores are more than convenient. They're your neighborhood store, your store. With locations in Lincoln, Catawba, Gaston, Iredell, and Mecklenburg counties, there's one near you. Times convenience stores have the right items at the right price, from snacks, cold drinks, and light meals from the grill, and there's always a special to save you time and money. Times has what you need. Times convenience stores, there's one near you. Regardless of where you're going, there's one on your way. Remember, there's always time to stop by Times. Have you thought about when you would like to retire? One of your major assets is planning for retirement is time, and you lose a little of it each day. The longer you wait to start accumulating capital for retirement, the harder it's going to be. How should you plan for retirement? Start by calculating approximately how much capital you will need at retirement, then estimate how much you will have to put away each year. Finally, carefully choose the investments in which you will invest. Stifel Nicholas can assist you. Call Ford Rembert today at 828-624-7300. Stifel Nicholas, member SIPC, and the New York Stock Exchange.
First Federal Savings Bank has been serving Lincoln County since 1940. And as it has been from the beginning, customer service is a priority to First Federal Savings Bank. They want to get to know you by name. First Federal Savings Bank has the convenience, the products, and the services that the larger banks have, but with hometown people that you see throughout your community. Stop in and visit one of their 4 convenient locations and see what First Federal Savings Bank has to offer you. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
Whether it's a sit-down meal or a call-in for the drive-thru, Brookwood Cafe and Catering is the answer. A variety of meats, vegetables, and desserts cooked daily, or a hot sandwich from the grill, they have what you're looking for to satisfy your taste buds. If you need catering from 5 to 500, Brookwood has you covered as well. Stop by Brookwood Cafe and Catering at 202 Providence Mill Road in Maiden. Don't forget breakfast daily till 11 a.m. Open Tuesday 6 a.m. to 2 p.m., Wednesday through Saturday 6 a.m. till 8 p.m., and Sunday from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Call 828-428-8944 to place your order today.
Covenant Church began as a vision of just over 100 people in 1984. Since then, Covenant Church has grown and currently located at 2168 Gastonia Highway in Lincoln. The Sunday schedule includes early morning worship at 8:30, Sunday school at 9:45, and morning worship at 10:45. Their ministries extend beyond Sunday. Visit their website at www.covenantchurch.church to see all they have to offer, and better yet, stop by and see for yourself. Covenant Church may be just what you're looking for a new church home.
If you ask around, you'll find Burke Mortuary has a reputation for excellence and commitment to value. They've built a reputation of trust for more than 35 years. Burke Mortuary is proud to offer personal attention, meaningful tributes, and the area's most affordable prices. They're also proud to offer you beautiful, state-of-the-art facilities. It's the perfect place to honor your loved one. So when choosing a funeral home, the choice is easy. Choose Burke Mortuary with locations in Maiden and Newton.
In the best of times, no one is more deserving of every opportunity, encouragement, and support than the youth in our communities. Parents, teachers, coaches, and sponsors struggle to stretch their budgets to continue help. Communities need a team effort. Times Oil Corporation, a longtime member of the community, established the Times Educational Alliance Mission, or Team Foundation. Since 2011, over $125,000 in grants have been donated in the community. Times Oil and the Team Foundation are proud to be community partners.
And welcome back. Appreciate Juju taking the time as always. He may even get in here live on Monday morning. It'd be awesome. Let me, before we wrap up here this morning, I actually got Facebook working right where I can read the comments. My wife says, do not ask me about fashion. He wears the same 2 or 3 shirts all the time. Drives me crazy. And it does not bother me at all, just in case you're keeping score, honey. I'm completely fine with it. I don't really care. It is what it is. Let me give you some things on this day in sports history. 1931, future Baseball Hall of Famer first baseman Lou Gehrig hits his 3rd grand slam in 4 days and his 6th homer in consecutive days in the New York Yankees' 5-1 win over the Red Sox. I got lots of birthdays and some passings for today. I didn't see a whole lot of stuff out here. In 1971, the Pittsburgh Pirates start what is believed to be the first all-black lineup, including several Latinos in Major League history, and a 10-7 win over the Phillies. 2 of those, hey, the great one, Willie Stargell and Roberto Clemente. Awesome. Awesome. A lot of folks don't remember. I remember 1972, American chess grandmaster Bobby Fischer beat Boris Spassky in Iceland. Had to have a neutral site game. They might have been from Alabama. Let's see. New York Mets pitcher Tom Seaver shuts out the Pittsburgh Pirates 3-0, first to reach 200 strikeouts in Major League Baseball's 8th straight season. Tracy Austin became the youngest at 14 years, 8 months, 20 days to become the youngest female to play in the U.S. Open in a first-round match, and won a first-round match. 1984, Willie Totten, Mississippi Valley State passes for a Division I AA record, 536 yards, 9 touchdowns, and an 86-0 win over Kentucky State. You know who the receiver was that caught 17 of those for 297 yards and 5 touchdowns? The great Jerry Rice. He breaks his own Division I AA record for total yardage and pass receptions. 1AA is now FCS, just in case you're keeping score. Awesome Bill in 1985 claims a $1 million bonus for winning 3 of the 4 crown jewel races on the schedule: Daytona 500, the Winston 500, and the Southern 500. That's awesome, Bill. Everybody remembers Bill. Carolina Panthers in 1996 outguns the Atlanta Falcons, the Dirty Birds, in their first regular season NFL game at Ericsson Stadium. Ericsson's not even around anymore as a company. That was in 1996. Hard to believe it's been that long ago. Wow. Roger Goodell began his tenure as NFL commissioner back in 2006 on this day. And in 2007, in one of the biggest upsets in college football history, in front of 109,218 fans, App State's Corey Lynch blocks a Jason Jingle 37-yard field goal attempt with 6 seconds remaining to inspire an epic 34-32 win versus Michigan in the Big House. I was not at that one. I was there for the rematch. Got to do a game in the Big House. Wow, what a great, great venue. Give you a couple of passings on this day in sports. We lost Jay Youngblood, 1985, American wrestler. Bart Giamatti in 1989 passed away at a heart attack, 51. He was only MLB commissioner for a year. He was the president of Yale from 1978 to 1986. We lost Tommy Morrison from AIDS at the age of 44 back in 2013. He was an American boxer, held the WBO heavyweight title in 1993. He was also in Rocky V. Rocky V. A couple birthdays, and then we'll buzz out of here. Birthdays on this day: Rocky Marciano was born on this day in 1923 in Brockton, Massachusetts. Al Geiberger, American golfer, born on this day in 1937. How about A.D., American College Football Hall of Fame coach Philip Fulmer, born on this day in Winchester, Tennessee in 1950. Hardy Nickerson. Remember Hardy Nickerson? Played for the Steelers, Tampa Bay Bucks, born in Compton, California in 1965. Timmy Hardaway, NBA All-Star, born on this day in 1966. It looks like that's going to about run it out for us here on a Wednesday morning. It's nasty. It's raining. Please be careful out there. It's going to be a nasty day at least through most of the day. Richie says, my wife tells me that it seems like I put the boys in the same shirt on the same day every week. Then she told me that I do the same thing. I pick up whatever's on top if it's a T-shirt day, whatever's on the end of the closet, and I don't even care if both of them's on the same side of the color wheel. And those of you that do fashion will know what I'm saying. Have a great day. 4 and I'll be back again tomorrow. Have a great one, folks. See you then.